Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Grow Your Brand with Amanda. And today I have with me Paul Culshaw. And Paul is a certified business strategist, AI innovator, and founder of Fuzzled, the calm growth movement for highly attuned entrepreneurs. He's got 25 years plus in digital and agency marketing, and he specializes in helping HSPs, ADHDers, and overthinkers grow their business with clarity, structure, and sustainable visibility. And I'm really interested to hear a lot more about that. He's also the founder of the Authority Engine, a strategic framework that helps businesses build topical authority and show up in AI tools like ChatGPT and Google's AI results, which is fascinating for me. And through his consultancy, podcasts, and programs, Paul blends emotional intelligence with practical strategy to help entrepreneurs move from confusion to clarity without the hustle. That sounds amazing, Paul, and welcome.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for the introduction there. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So I've built the business to kind of replicate what how I am as a person. So it's very authentic, I think, and I think it's a little bit different as well compared to all of the business accelerators that you see in the coaching world. So
Mhm.
yeah, trying to be different.
Yeah, a few things jumping out at me there. I like calm. I've
Yeah,
always been fascinated by emotional intelligence.
yeah.
And 2 years ago, I qualified myself as a coach and I worked really hard and I gained to level 5. And that was one of my things that I really, really focused on. And it's just endlessly fascinating. So before we get stuck in, I'm going to ask you my 3 questions because I think this is very revealing about people. Plus, we can add your choices to the playlist that accompanies this podcast. So, do you have a favorite motivational song?
Luckily, I do have a favorite motivational song. So I had to think about this because my taste in music is quite eclectic as well. I'm a big fan of Queen, the band. Yeah, so a lot of their music, a lot of their songs is very much about triumph over struggle, which I think resonates with a lot of people. So the main song that comes to mind is "We Are the Champions" on that. However, that's not the song I'm going to pick. It's something a bit more obscure. So another band I like, who are still famous today but big in the 80s, is Madness.
Ah, yeah.
So this is more of a deep cut because I'm also a fan of the band. So they have a song called "Keep Moving." And it's a really underrated song. It doesn't sound like Baggy Trousers or House of Fun or anything like that. So "Keep Moving" is my motivational song. So yeah, it's basically about the it's in the title, isn't it? It's about keep moving. It's about resilience. It's about life's been messy, but I'm still getting up. That kind of energy. It's a nice steady beat as well, so it's nice to listen to. So yeah, that's my choice. So maybe not one that yourself or a lot of the listeners know, but yeah, check it out. Keep moving. It's from 1984. From
Interesting.
Help.
It doesn't spring to mind, and I'm
Yeah.
quite a broad knowledge like you. My taste is eclectic, but I'm going to look that up. It sounds
Mm,
fascinating, and
mm,
I kind of grew up with Madness and
yeah.
Queen as well. I was raised on Queen, but
Right.
I'm definitely going to look that up and add that to the playlist. Thank you. I love the ones that have long since forgotten in time, and I love it when they come back. And
Yeah.
also, have you noticed you've got a daughter similar age to mine?
Yeah.
um, when they're humming tunes or they're singing tunes that are way back in our youth, and I say, "How do you know that song?" TikTok, all the stuff that's coming back on TikTok, that all the all our time, all music for our, and I love it that that music isn't getting lost in time. Do you have a favorite motivational quote?
I do. So, just a bit of context on this one before I give it to you. So, I used to work in hotels, the hospitality industry. Not in the hotels. I was doing the websites at head office and the marketing. But we travelled down to one of the hotels in London, which is called the Stafford Hotel. It's still there. It's in St James's. Really nice five-star hotel. And I spoke to the manager, the general manager, in terms of, well, how do you stand out and attract people to come to your hotel when there are so many lovely, luxurious hotels all around you? And he says, well, you can't, Paul, but here's something that you can do. You can't be 100% better than the competition, but you can be 1% better in 100 different ways. And that really resonated with me. So I use that myself in some of my slide decks. But it really resonates in terms of digital marketing, SEO, which I've worked in as well. Just in terms of being that 1% better in 100 different ways.
I like that. That's really doable, not overwhelming,
Hmm.
and very profound. Oh, yeah, I'm going to write that one down. That is brilliant. I love that. And my final question, because I'm nosy, do you read? And if you do you have a favorite book? Doesn't have to be personal development, anything at all.
Yep. Yeah, I do read. I do have an intention to read more next year. I'm hoping to get a Kindle actually
Oh, they're
for
brilliant.
Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have a book. It's probably something a bit different as well. So this book is called Watchmen, and it's by a chap called Alan Moore. It was written in the 1980s. It's actually a mix of being a graphic novel and like a written word novel as well. So it's one of Time Magazine's top 100 novels. It's been made into a film by DC Comics, who do Superman and Wonder Woman. But it's not childlike at all. It's got such a great, compelling storyline. So just great storytelling, basically, and a good medium, as I say, between the comic panels and the kind of the written page as well. So I think I like this because I like the creativity
Yeah.
behind it.
Mhm.
But ultimately, when we're talking about fiction books, in terms of what's your favorite, it's probably because it's a great story and have good characters in it. So yeah, I'll go for that one. If you're not aware of it, have a look at it and read about it. Yeah, Watchmen it's a great read.
I will check it out. And like you, I love the creativity behind that. And, just imagine the journey that they've been on to come up with this concept
Yeah.
and produce it and everything. So, yeah, that sounds absolutely fascinating. And I will look that up. Thank you for that. That's very revealing, very, very interesting. So, moving on to you and your business. So, what inspired you to start it? And how has your personal story shaped your brand?
So yeah, a great question. So something to reflect on, isn't it? This. So I don't think there was one big moment in terms of starting my business. I think it was probably a build up of realizations over time. So I worked in the corporate world and the marketing agency world in Manchester for about 25 years. Since the it kind of ages me now, this, but it's fine. Since the internet began, or since
Me too.
Google came a thing,
We
in
witnessed
the
the
late.
birth.
Exactly. But a world of wisdom I've now got. But yeah, kind of late 90s, early 2000s. And I worked in the corporate world for a long, long time and seen so much change in the digital marketing space. But I grew tired, I think is the short answer. I grew tired of redundancies. So I was made redundant a few times in my career. Not because I wasn't any good at my job. It's more about office politics. All this stuff I really don't like. Um, so yeah, I grew tired of that and not being in control of my destiny, as it were. I was tired of spending my career spending or building things for other people.
Mhm.
Uh, but I'm grateful that I was able to build things for other people because it gave me the confidence, the realization that well, why don't you kind of build this for yourself? So that was one of the realizations. And the other thing was that I grew tired of working on client accounts in agencies that I didn't really believe in.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to work with that type of business
Mhm.
in terms of the clients which were coming in. I wanted to work with the people that I wanted to help, basically. Yeah. So I feel that I got enough experience and enough confidence to then be able to kind of ride on my corporate experience in my own business. So that's why I kind of started the business. I think there were a few other things behind it as well. So people used to say, so in the corporate world, they used to say that I explained digital marketing concepts, and particularly SEO, which confuses a lot of people. I explain those clearly. Yeah, so people like the clarity that I brought. Um, so that was a good thing, a good realization. And then when I started to kind of lead teams or be a head of digital marketing in agencies, you have a team, yeah. And I really enjoyed the mentoring side of it more than the other kind of agency environment things that were going on. It was the mentoring that I liked, especially people who were on like a digital marketing apprenticeship. or they'd just finished university and it was their first job. It kind of reminded me of, the late 90s when I first started in Manchester as well. So I liked helping those people a lot. It's probably being a born teacher, maybe,
Yeah.
and caring for people, which is natural to me. So I think all of those things help me to then kind of leave the corporate world behind and leave the hustle of agency world behind, to start my own business, and something that's more suited to me. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah, it sounds like with your personality and your skills, it was an inevitable transition
Mm.
because you wanted to grow your own way and things were inevitably developing in the background and you wanted to put your own identity on things. You wanted to mentor people. And when you talk about clients, that's one of the beauties of having your own business. You kind of get to choose what kind of people that you want to work with. And that's what keeps us fresh and excited about our work because we get to set those parameters. And I think, yeah, not a lot of people are willing to make the break. But talking to people like you can clearly see that was an inevitability, I think. You just get frustrated and you don't want to spend the rest of your life building someone else's business when you know you're more than capable of building your own. So was there a turning point within your business when you had to think about visibility and you needed to increase your visibility to grow? How did that work? What did you do in terms of growing your own visibility?
Sure, yeah. So I mentioned a moment ago that I was riding on my own corporate experience or agency experience, and I was to a point. So I focused more on SEO, yeah, which is search engine optimization. At the time, it's very much about being seen or being visible in Google search. So I knew a lot about that. So I was able to do that for myself on my own website. So that's one part of visibility, yeah, or maybe the original source of being visible online was SEO. So I was okay at doing that. And then being in the coaching world or the entrepreneurial world is quite different to actually working in corporates in terms of digital marketing. A lot of social media happens. Being on podcasts happens as well. You don't do that when you have a corporate job.
Mhm. This
And
is true.
yeah, something struck me in terms of I worked with a lady who I think you know, and maybe some of your listeners know as well, called Lisa Johnson.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and Lisa's very successful
Mhm.
in the online industry in terms of coaching and business training and strategy. So I am part of Lisa's world. I'm actually one of her franchisees at the moment. She has a franchise company called a Business Success Company, and I'm one of her franchisees. So I do have some one-to-one. Sometimes I'm working with her team. So Lisa said something that struck with me, and that is that 80% of your time should go on audience building.
Yeah.
And she wasn't just saying it, she actually lives that as well. So as people kind of want to emulate Lisa's success or someone like Lisa's and have their success, it was good to hear that from them. Yeah, so she actually spends 80% of her time on audience building. So that's a realization to me that, I need to do the same. So yeah, absolutely. I do have SEO ticking on the background, and SEO is probably the most peaceful or calmest marketing strategy. Yeah, it ticks along in the background, and you should always have it. I don't want to talk too much about SEO. I'm not advocating it too much on this podcast. It's not what it's about. But we've got that in the background, and it's a slow burn, but it compounds over time.
Mhm.
So in terms of visibility, yeah, it was about having more of that 80% on visibility. So doing more guesting on podcasts, yeah, like we're doing now, talking inside online memberships, creating more guides and kind of free checklists to share when I talk in memberships as well is a good thing to do. I think letting people hear my voice and not just read my social media posts or blog posts is a good thing as well. So people start to get more of a sense of who the person is
Mhm.
and understand their personality. So those are all beneficial things, I think, just by showing up more in different places. But yeah, actually being able to put a lot more of your time into visibility or audience building, I think is the important thing to do. So the next thing, or where I'm at the moment, Amanda, with this, is that I'd like to do more talking at events, actually in person guest speaking. So that's what I'm looking to do going forwards. And you'd be glad to hear, I'm a big believer in PR, very much so. So yeah, actually doing more PR and looking at PR opportunities and being in those spaces where bigger conversations are being had, where there's more people. I think that helps to accelerate your visibility.
Mhm. Yeah, you're so right. And I've done Lisa's one to many. I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
Lisa as well.
yeah,
And when she said that about visibility and growing your audience being the big thing, it just clicked with me because I thought, yeah, it's right. She's right because people like to be. They feel busy doing all the things on Canva and making spreadsheets and doing all of this. But in reality, your business is building relationships, getting people to know you more, having conversations, being in the room, getting people to know your personality, and that is it can never be understated. And when I was on your podcast, we talked about visibility,
yeah,
and I always worry that people think of visibility as being this scary thing, and
yeah,
it's not. It's just showing up and being you, and just turn up as yourself, because the minute you try to fake it, people will see through that. And when people get to know you, they remember you. When they know what you do, they'll recommend you. And it's as simple as that. And I like that Lisa's always been consistent with that, but she practices what she preaches. And when I first started, I've had businesses before, but this is the first time I've really sort of gone all in. And looking at social media, I was thinking, I am not dancing on TikTok. I am not doing this. So I
mm,
was really studying, well, what do people actually do
yeah,
for visibility? Because
yeah,
I had to carve my own way in a credible way. So that I'm always at pains to try and say to people, you really don't have to do all of this. If you want to dance, off you go. That's great. That just doesn't fit my persona, and I'm not comfortable. But always remembering to be comfortable, and that's what I like what you lead with about being calm. The minute you're doing something that just doesn't sit with your values or doesn't sit with your brand,
yeah.
it just comes across as inauthentic, and it's painful to watch. And I think your audience picks up on that. So for me, it was always baby steps, doing things that you're comfortable and stepping outside your comfort zone a little bit and just taking it bit by bit, because you can't go from setting up your business to suddenly landing on big stages, because it won't work. You're just not ready. So everything is just going step by step. So yeah, I completely agree with everything that you're saying there. And you know yourself when you're ready to move on to the next thing. So what advice would you give to someone who says, I hate promoting myself?
I would say to them to pause first of all on that thought, to actually stop and reflect on it so we can understand it. Basically, you want to look inward with that because someone says I hate promoting myself, I think it's really about promoting yourself. It's usually something deeper, isn't it? So it's usually about visibility fears, old beliefs about ourselves, which might be negative, or maybe someone's not ready to be seen as well. But it's about why are you not ready to be seen? It's you peel the onion layers off to get to the truth. And once you identify the truth, once you understand it, then you've got something to work with, I think. So you're not kind of always battling the thought of I hate promoting myself at a surface level, because I don't think you would then become visible. You've got to really uncover the truth and grapple with it to understand why, so you can then move forward. So that is something I learned from mindset coaches in the last few years. So again, when I was corporate person, I don't come across these things in terms of hating to promote myself. I didn't promote myself; I just had my job. How is she doing it in the corporate world? But as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there are these new scenarios which you come across, and a lot of them aren't going to feel natural to you. They're certainly going to be new to you, and some of them aren't natural to you. So it's about really discovering why. I think I'd also say, Amanda, that promotion as well, or the belief of what promotion is. can be a little bit skewed for people as well, and that's so they have a false narrative running through their mind in terms of what promotion is, and they don't want to do that, and that's the thing that they hate. So it's not promotion isn't really about look at me. It doesn't have to be that look at me and be noisy and loud on Instagram. I think real promotion is simply being helpful to other business owners or being helpful to other people. So sharing what you know in a blog post is promotion, absolutely. Sharing what you know on a podcast, so speaking on a podcast like this is promotion. I'm doing promotion now, yeah, but very passively, but just by showing up and talking about my what I know and my thoughts on the questions which you're asking me. Even writing a thoughtful, well-structured social media post is a nice, calm way to provide your expertise, show your expertise, but that's all promotion as well. So I think when you shift your mindset from promoting yourself to actually being useful,
Mhm.
then everything gets a lot easier. So it's less about performing. It's more about what is it? It's more about contributing. I
Yeah.
think so. Again, it's that mindset shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, that it's just being helpful, yeah, just being useful for other people.
And people remember that when they've
Mhm.
learned something from you, or you've provided value, and it's having that self-awareness. And you're right. I think you need to do that. You need to do that work to have that self-awareness and in corporate. You can go and do a presentation because you've got that veneer of the where you're working, but when it's you, there's nowhere to hide. It's just completely you. It's all your business, and it's just you front and center. But I always in the work that I do, I've noticed that people are worried about appearing braggy or, look at me, aren't I great? And it's not about that at all. It's simply, I'm here. This is the service that I provide, and this is the impact it's going to have on your business. And that's the existence of your business. And I think you're right, just changing the narrative and what that looks like. And if you just show up and do your thing and say, well, this can help you, or try this,
Mhm.
and being present and offering to help is simply enough. And you don't have to show up. And I always joke about making £6 million in 5 minutes on the beach. It's not that. If you show up, be yourself, and demonstrate that you know your stuff, that will always stand you in good stead. So what's been the most surprising benefit for you putting yourself front and center of your brand?
Yeah, I think I might have alluded to it a little bit already, but I think it is it's personal growth at the end of the day. So on reflection of starting my business and the last few years that I've had my business, I think starting a business, and especially a personal brand, is the ultimate self-discovery journey at the end of the day. So for me, in terms of a benefit, it's been confidence, first of all. So it's been confident and being able to become more comfortable on camera. I have to say, maybe 3 years ago, or when I kind of left the last agency that I worked with, and I did a first live on Facebook, so a Facebook Live. Honestly, it took me about 20 minutes or so to kind of, press the button, and go live. I was like really anxious before I did it. But now, yeah, you kind of just do it. The thought of being on a podcast as a guest, people listening to me or watching me on YouTube. Um, 4 or 5 years ago, I would never have done that. I would never have done that. So yeah, very much about personal growth. So being comfortable on camera, so face to camera. I think with that also you start to retrain your nervous system. Again, I'm trying to recall what some of the mindset coaches have taught to me about and what I've learned from them. So retraining your nervous system by actually doing these things is a great thing to do. Yeah. So um, if you're frightened or scared of being visible, actually be visible, and then you retrain your nervous system, which then tells yourself that actually it's okay, you can actually do these things, yeah, and then you become more comfortable in doing it. So yeah, I think it's all around personal growth for me. I also think that by being me a lot more, because when I started out, yeah, very much so, I was a product of the corporate world. I was a perfectionist, which I think is a personality trait I do have. Um, but I've become less so. It's about being more authentic
Mhm.
online. And I think by being more authentic, my I don't like to call it a target audience. I think that's too corporate. But the people I'd like to help um, seem to be more attracted to me as well. So ADHDers, HSPs, which is highly sensitive persons, deep thinkers, creative people as well. I think they resonate with me. They kind of see a calmer, quieter style of marketing and maybe feel safe to have a conversation with me, listen to my podcast a little bit more as well, just by stepping into who I actually am. So yeah, very much about personal growth.
And that's lovely because you're creating that space and becoming known for that. You're making that space accessible and people feel welcome and they know that you get it. And and it's just interesting that you described your journey there and everybody is terrified of going live.
Mhm.
And you described your nervous system. And I do a lot of work behind that and I help people get comfortable. And it's so interesting because I always use this analogy when you had your first um driving lesson
Yeah,
and you didn't know what you were doing and you're just like, I'm never going to be able to learn to drive. It's awful. And now, majority of us take it for granted. We get in the car and we drive because we conditioned our brain and we learned and our
mhm.
nervous system got used to it. And then now it becomes an everyday thing. And that type of visibility is similar to that. It's a new experience. Your brain feels threatened, your nervous system feels threatened, but the more exposure you have, the more you do, the more it becomes normal. For me, I'm quite comfortable showing up on camera. However, I don't like doing it by myself. I will
Well,
talk forever on a podcast with everyone, but I just don't like turning the camera on and talking to no one. But that's still a block that I have, but I'm quite happy to admit that. And that's just one of the things I'm more comfortable chatting to people
yeah,
and I'm going live with anybody, but going live
yeah,
by myself it just doesn't do it for me. But
yeah,
but getting to, as you said, creating that space, personal development, and getting known for that, and your nervous system adapting. We put ourselves under so much pressure, and having that self-compassion and understanding just gentle exposure over time, it'll become normalized. But remember that analogy of the driving lessons. I mean, imagine your knees used to shake whenever you're trying to trying to just
well, that's
drive,
right.
and the car used
Yeah,
to judder. And most of us forget those days. But I think it's the same when you think about your own visibility in business, and it does get a little bit easier and easier.
it does.
So you strike me as being confident on camera, and I imagine, yeah, as you said, it probably wasn't always the case. But do you have any rituals beforehand to make you feel confident, or can you just show up now, or do you do anything to sort of get yourself ready?
Sure, yeah. So I do have a few things which I still do. So if you watch on YouTube, you'll see that I've got my glasses on. Wearing my glasses helps. I've only needed these since the start of the year. They're reading glasses, these ones. So not that I'm reading anything. Um, but wearing these glasses helps me. I think it just helps me to step into being someone else, a business owner, Paul, maybe, stepping into a character. It's like I become Clark Kent, I don't become Superman. I go the other way, kind of thing.
It's a
um,
good
but
idea.
yeah, but yeah, kind of wearing the glasses. I tend to dress a bit smarter as well. I mean, I work at home, but I tend to dress a bit smarter when I'm on camera or do a talk in a membership or on a podcast. I think these just help me to feel more confident and maybe become someone else as well, a little bit, which is a trait which I think all performers have, don't they? So all of the kind of best singers tend to be quite shy and quiet off camera. We talked about Queen earlier, so Freddie Mercury is a great example there of being a bit quite an articulate, very intelligent, and quiet and shy chap. Off stage, but on stage, becomes a persona which we all know and love. Um, so yeah, it's that type of thing, really. That helps me. Whether it helps someone else, I don't know. If you're looking for a way to feel more calmer or confident, try those things. Even having like a pen that you have that you can hold maybe whilst you're on camera or speaking at an event or something. Maybe we all need something like that just to help us in terms of our confidence.
Now that's useful to know. And you mentioned working at home. I
Yeah,
think maybe it was over COVID, we didn't have to sort of dress up for work. But for me in my business, I
yeah,
like to look smart. But my thing is I always spray my favorite perfume. Because there's always something to anchor me to doing this thing, and just
yeah,
having that little ritual is, I think it maybe is a switch in our brains to think, right, that this thing's happening now. And I work from the same spot. I'm very lucky. I have a study at home and I have this space, but there is definitely something where I need to slot into. I'm doing this thing now, this little ritual, and. Yeah, I imagine the best people in the world do it. I suppose in the famous circles they call them riders, where they have, like what is it, only green M&Ms or something. But I think
yeah.
it's good if you have something that helps you make that shift to I'm doing this thing now, and it's just a way to kind of gear yourself up, and maybe there is that little veneer of I'm becoming, Amanda, the business person now, that this is the thing that I need to do. And every time you mention Freddie Mercury, you won't believe this. After all these years, I still
Yeah.
feel sad. It makes me feel so sad when I hear of him, and I've adored him all my life, and it just never leaves. I love him so much, huge fan.
Oh,
Anyway,
thank you.
moving on. Um, what visibility channel has moved the needle most for your business? So, podcast, video, live events, social media. Is there anything in particular that you feel works for you the most?
Yeah, so the thing that works for me the most, sorry, is SEO, which I mentioned before, but specifically blogging. uh,
Okay.
Works for me. Yeah, and blogging is going to come back in a big way. It already has, but it's going to come back in a big way in 2026 and beyond because it provides AI systems, ChatGPT and Google's AI results. It serves them with the content which they surface to your clients, but blogging for me has been the biggest driver. Yeah, I also think because it's long form content. So I like to write, I like to write. I'd rather write a letter to someone than do a short text message. Not that I write letters too much, but I'd rather do that. I'm quite a deep thinker. I like to express my thoughts. So long form content is good, and that's why I feel at home. And it's part of my strategy as well as I talk about calm marketing, having blog posts as part of long form content. So that helps me in terms of traffic as well. So it brings in steady organic traffic, and that compounds over time because a good blog post lasts. If you're talking about something that people will always search for in terms of a question, which you call an evergreen topic, if you have a good post, it's always going to be surfacing in results. So that's all helps me very much so. But on top of that, yeah, absolutely. The big one for me also is guest speaking.
Mhm.
So guest speaking podcasts like we're doing now, membership talks, which I mentioned before, and larger events. So that's where I want to go, in terms of speaking at larger events. And particularly in Manchester, where I'm based, I'm sure there's lots of events that I could talk at there. So that's part of what I'd like to do next year. So yeah, it's a combination then of SEO, traditional SEO, and then speaking at events and in memberships. I think that's the sweet spot for me.
Good to know about the blog post. That hadn't occurred to me. That's a really good tip for anyone that's listening. You heard it literally from the horse's mouth. That's brilliant. Thank you for that. And then to my final question, Paul, it's just been absolutely fantastic listening to you today. Where can we find out more about you online?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, everything with me lives on my website, which is paulculshaw.com. So you'll find me there and all of my AI services. And you'll also find a whole section on the website about Fuzzled, which is all about marketing clarity for highly attuned entrepreneurs. So there's lots there that I offer as well. So that's the kind of hub of my website. If you prefer listening, I do have a podcast as well. So you can search for the Fuzzle podcast. That's a good starting point. So we've got short and calm episodes there, and one with yourself, Amanda, coming up soon. Yeah, have a look at that Fuzzle podcast on all of the platforms. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, where I am at Coach Paul Culshaw. I'm on LinkedIn as well, so I'm all the right places wherever you prefer to seek me out.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And I will put those links in the show notes. So thank you so much, Paul, for joining me today. It's been absolutely fascinating, and I've loved hearing about your business and your journey and reminding me that channels that maybe were established a long time ago are still relevant, like
Mm.
the SEO and blogging and all of that. It's the stuff that maybe the online world was built on is still relevant today, and I think it's amazing. I'm going to revisit some of those things. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Thanks, Amanda. It's been a pleasure.